Want to be able to share with you now, just diverge a little bit here, and to be able to talk a little bit about some of the missional things that we do. I divide my thoughts into two things: ministry things, which is what I do here in the greater Ottawa area, and then we have the missional things that we do. And that's the opportunities that we have, again, to be able to come alongside and partner with some amazing people in the area of northern Quebec. It's hard for me to believe that we started doing this almost 12 years ago. And that was the first time that I went up there, and we did a football camp. I mean, of all the crazy things that we did up north, it was a football camp. And from that, we have expanded into so many different things that we've been able to have the privilege of being able to be involved in. This past year, we were involved in camps that took place in Waswanipi and Nemska and Mistissini. We sent volunteer teams up into each place in order to be able to see those things take place. We had help from a number of different churches, and from the Peterborough area, from a number of churches from here in the Ottawa area, and that who all sent volunteers to put teams together to be able to help out and be able to send things up there. And it was just absolutely unbelievable. I have been truly blessed each summer to be able to work with some amazing teams. And you're going to get a chance to hear from two of these people tonight, and that's Martin and Keltie Mask. And I'm looking, oh, there they are. And that's your cue that I'm inviting you guys up. And so Martin and Keltie both took leave from their full-time employment, and then this summer went up north for 5 full weeks. And they ran 4 weeks of kids camps, helped run 4 weeks of kids camps, and then 1 week of youth camp, and that with us and with our teen camp in Mistissini. They took up residence in Mistissini, and that spent most of your time living, I think, at the camp, and then at weekends, often crashing at Pastor Gordon's house. But the beautiful thing about it that I want you to be able to hear from them firsthand, and that is, why did they do it? I mean, why did two young people in their early 20s like that suddenly decide that God is calling them to go up to Mistissini and take 5 weeks of leave from their own work, and in order to be able to pour their lives into to kids and to the community there? And so I wanted you to hear firsthand from them their experiences this summer.
All right. So I'm Martin, and this is Keltie. So, as Paul said, we had the opportunity this summer to spend 5 weeks in Mistissini, Quebec. Mistissini is about 10 hours north of here. We went up with an amazing team of people from Ottawa, and we were joined by people from Peterborough, and we had lots of help from people within the community in Mistissini. From Ottawa, we had ourselves, Emma Hotch, Steph Veazey, and Danielle Duke. We were up there for 5 weeks together. It was a great team. We worked really well together. Alongside, we had Gordon there. His wife, Mary Jane, was there as well as there were teen workers from the community who worked alongside us with the kids who were at the kids camps, and then they worked in the kitchen. They did more or less whatever they were asked to do. So that was really neat to see. Yeah.
So as was said, we did 4 weeks of kids camp. So we had 1 week of day camp, and then the rest were overnight camps. And each camp was about 30 kids. And I had the privilege of being in Mistissini for 4 weeks last summer, and it was amazing to see a lot of the same faces again, and seeing the same kids coming back and being so excited to just be at camp and see familiar faces, because Emma had been there the year before, and same with Danielle. So it was really great to actually be able to feel like we were investing again in these kids' lives from such a young age. So each week we had different activities, and Steph led the VBS. So we did a lot of singing, and we heard from people in the community that the kids were going home and teaching their parents the songs that we'd taught them, which was really encouraging to think that even if they were just sharing with their families the songs that we were singing, that gospel message was going home to their families, and what an impact that would have not only on the kids but to the people they came in contact with. So that was really encouraging. So we had campfires and lots of swimming. It was 7 degrees one day, and they wanted to go swimming. And we have a photo, and Emma's in the water, Emma's on the beach lifeguarding with a wool sweater on, a vest, and like mittens and a scarf. And these kids are in the water, like loving life. It's crazy. But yeah, the whole time, it was just really neat to see how much the kids enjoyed being there. And just even hearing from the parents, the first week of day camp, the parents came and picked up, and they were just so excited to see the work that was going on at camp, and yeah, it was just a really, really cool experience.
So we ended this summer with teen camp. We were joined with a group from Peterborough of about 15 more counselors and leaders. And we were packed. We had 50 campers for camp. There was kids sharing beds. There were people sleeping on mattresses on the floor. We were squished. But it was great to see that many people at camp. We really went for the hard topics at teen camp. We went where the kids might not want to go sometimes, and we talked about things that they might not be comfortable talking about. But also led to great realizations for them. Most obviously on the Wednesday night, we had a prayer time after our evening chapel, where the kids were asked to, or offered the opportunity to come forward and be prayed for by leaders and leaders in the community, and we saw most of the kids come up and be prayed for, share their burdens, and know that there's people listening and there for them. The other thing that was neat about teen camp was we had people from within the community come and share their stories, talk about how God has changed their lives, how God has acted in their lives. And it was neat to see, because I think the kids related very well to that, seeing people around them being touched by God. The one thing that I really got out of the summer that I hadn't had the experience of my previous times in Mistissini was the last 2 times I've gone, it was I was there for a week and a week and a half. This year I got to stay for the full 5 weeks. And it wasn't time at camp, but it was the time in the community. We were welcomed very warmly, and it was really neat to see everybody in the community. Walking around on the weekends, we'd see the kids, we'd see them especially at Tim Hortons, and just being able to have them see you around and know that you're there, and that you're there to talk to them and to hear from them, and to pray with them and be there for them if they need it, and to so that was what I found. That was one of the best parts of the experience for me. Wasn't camp so much as just being in the community with the people and getting to interact with them there.
One of my favorite moments from the summer, there was one girl that we met 3 years ago, our first time in Mistissini. And we'd seen her several times, different trips in Montreal and when she's come to Ottawa. And I'd had the opportunity to get to know her. And it can be kind of hard to be there for 5 weeks and 4 weeks last summer, and you're there and you're invested, but to have them know that even though you're 10 hours away, that you still love them and care about them and are praying for them. And especially with the teens, it can be very hard to read them. They can be closed off, and sometimes you can feel, at least I know for myself, like you're not maybe getting through and you're not making that lasting relationship. And so this one girl that we've known for the past 3 years, it was the last day of teen camp, and Paul went down to the beach and he found a note somewhat hidden in the sand, And it was from her, and it was written to Martin and I, and it was just saying how much she loved us and how much she knew that we cared for her and she appreciated our friendship. And that was like super cool for me, because even all week you don't maybe feel like you've made that impression or you've made that strong of a relationship. So to have her in her own way tell us that we had impacted her life was like amazing. So yeah, thanks.
When we say that the camp was packed, by the way, Gordon, what's our capacity at the camp? We can sleep, what, 36?
Yeah, 36.
Yeah, and we had 53 campers, not counting our leaders. And so, there's no real appreciation for things like fire codes or anything else like that. It's just, but the amazing thing about it was that kids just wanted to come. And matter of fact, the amazing thing too was the parents wanted them to be there as well. And so you'd see parents coming in and say, no, we've got a mattress, we can put it on the floor over here. And you'd have kids saying, oh, we can both share that same mattress, that's okay. And it was absolutely staggering. I mean, like, just amazing watching everybody come together. And then our tents all set up all around the area with our leaders in them. And so we just had a wonderful, wonderful time doing all that. That Wednesday night, though, was powerful. That was absolutely powerful. We had planned that Wednesday night out quite a few weeks in advance. Matter of fact, Gordon and Mary Jane had come down at least once, if not twice, right? And met with our leadership team, and we talked about that whole thing of the camp and the whole bit, and what we wanted to do. So we called it Flying Closer to the Flame. That's basically what we called our week. And we said that we were going to see how close you could fly to the flame without getting burned. And yet at the same time, to be able to not be afraid of what you would discover there. And so we opened up that whole camp week with Daniel and his 3 friends, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, in the fiery furnace. And the fact that sometimes you get tossed right into the furnace. But once you're tossed in there, God makes sure you don't get burned. And matter of fact, He wants to set you free. But sometimes we've got to go there to discover what it means to be truly free. And so that's what we started off with. And I could tell the youth are sort of looking at us like, oh boy, where's this going? But they went with us. And that Wednesday night was absolutely staggering. We had Gordon and Mary Jane and at least 2 other people from the community that came in to pray for the kids, right, Gordon? And it was absolutely amazing to see what was happening in the lives of these kids that night. Just the brokenness, just the crying out for them, for the healing, for the hope, for salvation. It was amazing, absolutely amazing. And just an unbelievable affirmation that this is what God has wanted us to be able to see and wanted us to do.